Hello everyone, Martin here, back with another Legacy video. So, playing Doomsday. You'll have to excuse that the images in all these cards aren't here yet. I think they will appear eventually. It's because I just started up Magic Online, and it is a little bit soft like that. So yeah. Anyways, oh, here we go. At least some of them. I've been dabbling with some small tweaks here and there. I went back from 1 to 2 oracles. I tried out Ideas Unbound and Pact of Negation once again and decided I didn't really think they did enough and went back to the consider no deep analysis. So there is that. I think when you're playing Doomsday, what you really want is to try and be aware that you have a number of quote unquote bad cards, cards that aren't good except in certain contexts. And I think deep analysis is definitely one of those. It is amazing in some very narrow instances, and it is pretty embarrassing in a lot of other ones. You could also say stuff like Edge of Autumn, though your mileage may vary and stuff like that. So I've gone up to 2 grief, gone down to 0 deep analysis. What else? What else? Went back. I played 3 days for a while, and I do love days in Doomsday. I think 3 could very well be correct, but playing 2 at the moment. And the sideboard is so basically these 5 cards are for Delver. Relic is to try and beat Endurance out of the non-blue decks with Wasteland. Shelldog Isle and Emrakul is to beat control decks with few or no Wastelands. And for those matchups, we also want the Mystical Disputes, and the rest, like the Force of Negations, good catch-all for other combo decks and for like Moon decks, like Prison decks, at least the non-creature parts of those decks. Yeah, and also like Shieldred is not only for Delver. She's also for Delver, but in certain matchups, she is just like more copies of Doomsday. It feels like. So instead of personal tutor, some number of Shieldred just combos well with ritual effects. All right, so I'm gonna jump into the league, and this time it's a little bit different. See, so I played one game or like one match last night when I was traveling. And I'm going to go through the replay of that, and then I'm going to play the rest of the league sort of, live, quote unquote. All right, so here's round number 1. All right, so for round number 1, I got paired against Brian Cook, famous Storm player, so I feel pretty sure it's the Epic Storm. I won the die roll, and I get this hand, which I think is really just fine. I'm never gonna be unhappy with this sort of hand, at least almost never. And I think the play here is to Thoughtseize. So do that. See this hand. So we were right about the Storm. Obviously, Echo of Eons is not the take for obvious reasons. He has 2 ritual effects. So I think the only option here is between Ad Nauseam and Brainstorm. And I think like I considered taking the Brainstorm, sort of leaving him stranded with what he had. But I thought it was too big of a risk in case he spiked like basically almost any mana effect. So any Lotus Petal or Dark Ritual. So I guess not any, but like a Lotus Petal plays Rite of Flame, right? So that's 2 mana, and then land plus Dark Ritual is 5. So I end up taking the Dark Ritual, and so Bryant just goes Tarn Go. I draw Edge of Autumn, and I decide to Brainstorm here, see if I can spike the win. And I almost can, but not until next turn. So what I decide to do here is put back. I thought about hiding the Doomsday in case Bryant spiked hit a Thoughtseize or something, but since I have 2 Brainstorms, I can always like hide Doomsday at instant speed. So go like this, and So plays out the Mire and brainstorms. So now we no longer know any of the cards in his hand. Plays Petal and plays, what was that? Oh yeah, Hope of Girapur. So that's pretty spicy to have that in the main deck. So now I feel like regardless, I have to win this turn, which obviously we can. But I did worry a little bit about that Lotus Petal, also because I had heard that the Epic Storm had started playing like what do you call it? Like silence. I guess maybe the Taiga was a giveaway that there wasn't any silence, but that was what I was worried about. I brainstorm at end of turn because I feel like I might as well, since the game isn't going to go on for any longer, and this might improve my setup. And I get this, and I remember tanking for quite a long time, trying to work out if there was a way I could win uh, through a silence. But at the end, I don't think I was able to come up with one. But fortunately, it didn't really end up mattering. I did end up like trying, and by that I mean like I think I ended up with a daze in my hand or something, or that was the plan anyways, just in case Brian went for. So I made this pile, and I put a wraith on the bottom, which like the wraith would just have been a blank. Um, but I went like this to put Dace on top, and in that case, my plan was to cast Brainstorm, I believe. No, never mind. Cycle Edge, and if Brian, if he silenced in response to the cycling of Edge, I would Brainstorm and Daze. That was my plan. But it ended up not mattering, and I make this somewhat scruffy-looking pile, and and win. So obviously you don't get to see the sideboarding when it's replayed matches, but I bring in like the four Force of Negation. I bring in 2 or 3 Shieldred. I can't remember. Just because like Shieldred, if I go Shieldred on turn 1 or turn 2, I think that's fairly strong against the Ad Nauseam Echo of Eons deck. So I bring those in, and I remove some number of, like, I think maybe 2 cyclers, some or all of the personal tutor, I don't remember, and probably the Cavern of Souls. So, okay, I'll be back with the second game. All right, game number 2. Let's see. I get this hand, and it's a pretty clear keep. This is a pretty strong hand. We have the Promise of Shieldred. We have turn 0 interaction, and we can Thoughtseize. So yeah, some pretty strong hands we got there versus the Epic Storm. And they go Bobble and pass, I think. Yeah. Oh, and we draw Daze, which was also pretty lucky because now I Thoughtseize. And turns out that that Bryant had a Veil of Summer. So that Daze just coming up big. So yeah, it sucks to go behind on the land, but very much worth it to take the Veil of Summer and get our Thoughtseize through. Bryant bobbles us in response. Okay, 2 brainstorms and 2 lands, so we've got 1 brainstorm left. And he draws also for the turn with the bobble. So here is a Wishclaw Talisman. I decide to Force of Negation this, which might have been slightly aggressive, but at the same time, like, this is one of the payoff spells that he gets to quote unquote float. So I'd rather not have to deal with that later on. So we draw Force, which by itself obviously isn't great, but we can cycle Edge of Autumn in a pinch. Okay, so there we go. I think also we don't know about the Underground Sea the Land he played. I think so. So 3 cards in hand. There's Hope of Girapur, and I'm not gonna like sack a land in the hopes that I get I spike a blue card. So we hit a brainstorm, which I cast, and I just like I get this, which is like I think pretty much a no-brainer. So I can't keep force blue card plus play Shieldred this turn. So I have to put back, I put back Edge and Consider. And I play Shieldred and pretty much just have to hope that she does the trick. Also, like, Force isn't even that good with the hope. Okay, so here is Shieldred. Bryant responds by cycling a Veil of Summer just to draw the card before it'll deal him 2 damage. So, and here we go. So now there's a pretty big clock ticking, and Bryant attacks, and what plays a Burning Wish, okay, and gets Galvanic Relay. So Brian gets to do a mini relay here. Storm is 3, so that's 4 cards. Unfortunately, they aren't that helpful. So the first one was a Chrome Mox. The second one is a Brainstorm, which, you know, Shieldred, a land, and a Petal. So has to ship the turn. I just draw a blank, which I decide to hold on to, and I attack. So now Bryant goes down to 10, attacks with Hope, and casts Brainstorm, takes 6, and concedes. So yeah, that was, I think it is a pretty decent matchup for Doomsday, and I drew well. So that's pretty much the story of that round, I think. So yeah, now I'm going to jump into a live, into the league and play some live matches, and I'll be back with round number 2. All right, round number 2 on the draw. I think I'm going to keep this. It's not amazing, but it functions, I think. Don't know what we're up against, but we'll see. Oh, main deck Leyline of the Void. So, like, that 2-card Monty kind of deck. Probably like Helm Leyline plus other relevant cards here. So, I wonder if they could be like a Dark Ritual Opposition Agent deck. If they were, I think they might have done it on their turn or in our upkeep or something, because they would have just given me the extra draw to draw like a Force. But I'm not gonna lie, I am somewhat concerned about that. I am pretty cold to that happening. Well, I think I am good. I am going to risk it here. And we might just get the blowout here. Okay, we didn't, so that was fortunate. I'm going to duress because I'm worried that something nasty is going to come out. Okay, so a Hymn to Torok. So happy I did that. Right. So how does this work with an active ley line? So, like, is it exiled to the Dothy Voidwalker, or is it exiled to the ley line? Magic continues to throw rules at me I'm not completely sure I understand. All right, here we go. So if you're them, depending on what they drew, obviously, do you go for the Dothy Voidwalker or the Plague Engineer? I suppose the Dothy seems like way more potent. No? Ooh, Dark Ritual, so you get both? That's one way to go about it. Okay, sweet. What do you name here? Goblin? in case I'm like, oh, name bird, in case I have Alpha Strix. Makes sense. Probably not gonna be using this grief. Let's put back Oracle and Personal Tutor. I don't mind hanging on to this extra copy of Doomsday, just because um, like if they Thoughtseize us here or something. So what? How were they exiled? So neither of these have a void counter on them. That's what it's called, right? Void counter. So looks like they were exiled to the Leyline of the Void. Okay, so I think I'm gonna. Am I going to brainstorm here? Yeah. If I consider, I lose the consider. I think end of turn brainstorming here is fine. Ooh, hamana hamana. Okay, let's put back Force and Doomsday. And let's so I guess without deep analysis we can't win this turn. So that was a little bit annoying. Actually no, that's not true. We absolutely can. Never mind. I'm just being dumb. So if I pitch the Cab Ritual to the Grief, or the Doomsday to the Grief, then I will still have enough cards to win the same turn. So let's do that. I suppose. Yeah, no, this is fine. They could have Opposition Agent, but then did I put back Thassa's Oracle? Or I forget. I put back Force on top, but I'm not sure if it was Thassa's Oracle. Beneath that, I think it might have been. In that case, we can beat Opposition Agent, potentially. But they just have a Snow Covered Swamp. Okay, cool. So, let's cast this. Cast this. So, the pile has to be, we'll cycle Edge into Brainstorm. Cast Brainstorm. Draw a Street Wraith, a Lines Out Diamond. We need Oracle. And I suppose because we have to consider, the last card can just be a blank. Let's put another Edge just to make sure how does that work. So we cycle Edge into Brainstorm. We Brainstorm with our 1 mana. We draw Street Wraith, LED, Edge. We put back Consider and I suppose Cabal Ritual. Right, so the pile would be Thassa on the bottom, Cabal Ritual, Consider. Then we cycle. Wait, am I getting this right? So we cycle Edge and draw Brainstorm, cast Brainstorm, draw the LED and the 2 cyclers, put back Cabal. Yeah, then we just end up with like 1 cycler too many, and it doesn't matter. But yeah, this should work. So Thassa needs to be on the bottom. And then I suppose it doesn't matter. So we Brainstorm, put back Cabal Ritual, and Consider. And we cycle Sack for blue. Cast Consider, mill the Cabal Ritual, and draw Thassa. There we go. All right, cool. So we take game number 1 against the mono black Him to Torag deck. I'm not sure what might be desirable from our vantage point here. Obviously not the mystical disputes, potentially some number of force of negation. Though like it's not really that exciting to force of negation a Him to Torag, so it's a 2-for-1 in either case. But it might be that they are a dark ritual sort of stompy-esque deck, I would say. I would not be completely shocked to find lock pieces like a Trinisphere or something. They are an Ancient Tomb deck, even though they aren't like drawing cards. Sheoldred isn't completely ridiculous. So let's try this, and what do we cut here? Like maybe a Duress and a Personal Tutor. I'm not sure I need 2 Grief here, and I'm gonna cut 1 Cycler. I'm hesitant to cut like a land. You could argue for cutting Cavern of Souls in case they are like but in case they are like a Chalice deck, then that's not too exciting. Did I board out a Thassa? I didn't, did I? No. Okay, so this is risky, right? If they go turn 1 Thoughtseize, then this hand somewhat collapses. At least unless we draw like a blue producing land. But then we can still Thoughtseize them. If they... Oh, hang on, never mind. I thought for a second this was Dark Ritual. Yeah, no, then I don't like this hand. I'm gonna mulligan. Yeah. Well, let's keep this. And let's bottom that swamp. And see how much worse for where we are. Opponent kept 7. Dark Ritual. I think I probably force this. It might seem aggressive, but maybe they don't have more mana and they won't be like, they'll be stuck next turn. So this could very well end up biting me, but yeah, that was just my gut reaction or gut read. So they have 1 more Dark Ritual. Okay, guess not then. Him. Okay, I think I'm gonna brainstorm in response. How about if we go like Doomsday back and Cabal Writ back? Then if they hit both of our lands, it's bad. If they hit the Doomsday and a land, that means we have to wait a turn. They might also follow this up with another Hymn, though, or something else nasty. But I think I do. That's my sort of first notion to do this. So, yep, Hymn happens, and they grab both lands. So, yikes. Wait, why do you... So they Dark Ritualed to player on days. That's interesting. Well, now we're stuck for at least this draw step and 1 more. So, we'll see. See what kind of evil things they will be doing to us. So far, so peaceful. Okay, we need to fade 1 more turn, and then we're out of the brainstorm lock. It looks like we do get that turn, so come on. Land. Consider. Ugh. Do we fire this off now and hope to hit a land drop? Let's put that in the graveyard. Another Cabal Ritual. Well, at least we have redundancy in the face of like a Thoughtseize. So now they hit their 3rd land. Okay, so they have Opposition Agent, and well, it sucks if we draw like a fetch land, but if we, which of course we do. Do we play this? Yeah, let's suppose we do. Maybe they'll mess up and play like an Urborg. But like if we were able to cast like Resolve Doomsday, then we have the Oracle in hand. We would need 2 extra blue mana. Rotting Regisaur. Okay, so the beats are on. Yeah. Okay, so next turn we take 10, be it 6. I think I'm gonna try the Brainstorm here. Well, I mean, there is the land. The issue is that the issue is that we're brainstorming locked now. I could shuffle here. They get to see my hand if Magic Online has fixed that, so they'll know what's up. And then what can we hope to like draw on our one more, like the one additional turn we get? Because we need to like let me just read this. While an opponent searches their library, they exile each card they find. Yeah, so if we resolve Doomsday, Doomsday will well the my library will be empty, so we can't pass a turn, and we need 2 more blue mana to cast this. So like if this was one of these were Dark Ritual, and we drew another land, but as is, I think I'm just gonna concede. We could like fetch to shuffle. They would like our library would be shuffled, so we wouldn't be brainstorm locked, and we could hope for like some kind of magic. Like we would have to draw brainstorm, which would then have to draw us into like some combination of Lotus Petals, Dark Ritual, and or more lands. But yeah. Do I want an additional discard spell over like maybe a Grief over a Force of Negation when on the play? Yeah, I think so. Okay, so let's see if we can do better this game 3. Yeah, I think so. This is turn 1 Doomsday. I'm not gonna pass up on that. Okay, they keep 7 as well. So let's get this this Doomsday on the stack before Oppo Agent becomes live. All right. So let's so what we could do is cycle into just like lands, and then have like second Oracle at the bottom. So we can't do that. How about we put Cavern on the way, like way at the bottom, just in case. So in this way, we put, I suppose, Underground Sea on the bottom, then Cavern. No, Underground Sea, then Thassa, then Cavern. So we draw Street Wraith, cycle twice, draw the Cavern, play Thassa. If they have removal for the Thassa in hand. No, sorry. So like if they discard us on turn 1 and we lose the Thassa, then we have to postpone for 1 more turn to draw the Thassa naturally. And if they have something like a Trinisphere, we can also beat that on the final turn. But yeah, I think I like that. So this loses to like them like stripping Thassa from our hand and then killing us before like we pass twice, but I suppose that's the risk we have to take. We are at an effective 5 life right now because we have to cycle twice. But let's see. I wouldn't mind them like hemming us and not taking Thassa. I'd like that very much. Oh, just like that. So I think I am just gonna go for it here. Takes us down to 4. Sorry, 5. We play Thassa. The only way they don't lose right now is if they have removal. If they have removal, then we have another Thassa coming. So let's see how that goes. Okay, sure, they concede. Sweet, we got there. So that's 2-0. Let's see how round number 3 goes. All right, round number 3 on the draw. This is not a very good hand, I don't think. But is it worth mulliganing? Like, it's basically 5 sources of mana and then force blue card. I'm gonna keep this, but I'm not too happy about it. Opponent mulligans to 6. Okay, let's see. Like, if I have to force something here, it's gonna be like really awkward. Okay, I escape. So Savannah go. I think I'm gonna Thoughtseize here off of Underground Sea, running the risk of Wasteland, but we're set to fight Wasteland right as things stand. Oh, how about that keep from the opponent? Crazy. What do you take here? I mean, obviously not the ending. I think it's the Force of Will, but I'm almost tempted to take the Quaddle, as that will draw additional cards, but nah, it's gotta be the Force. You could argue the Narset, obviously, but then we just have to, like we have to force pitch, like, force on their force. I don't know, I think they're not exactly casting Narset next turn, so let's see. Wow, that's quite the risky keep on the part of the opponent, I think. Oh, they found the land. Well, paid off. And now I'm gonna consider here, which is oh yeah, maybe I should have done that on the upkeep. Yep, gonna put that one into the graveyard and draw another land. And now we're in the dumpster. They're gonna Quaddle here, and if they hit a land, if there's a land on one of their 2 top cards, they're gonna have Narset, which is just like incredibly bad for us. So it looks like I'm the one getting punished. Did they find the land? Well, they're attacking. They didn't find the land. Okay, that's lucky. And we found a Ponder, which is also like one of the best cards we could draw, I think. Okay, so what? They have a hand that is Narset, Jace, Ending, and 2 unknowns. This is tricky. I think I'm going to take this, and I think I'm gonna just like go for the Doomsday with like no protection. As long as they're only presenting this as a clock, it's not the end of the world. We'll see. Like, if they draw the land now, they make Narset. They activate Narset. If they draw Force, then we're like in the dumpster. There's the land. I'm assuming Narset is gonna make an appearance. Anything else would be strange, I think. Yeah, Narset is in. Does she find Force? Or Days Undoing, that'd be even worse. Okay, she finds Brainstorm. I mean, feels unlikely that it will make this, but I suppose it's worth the try. Actually, hang on. How much mana do I have here? I have 3, 5, 7, 8. So I could actually hardcast Force if I play if I play out everything right. So we're like exposing Cavern to Wasteland. But I think it's worth doing. And I'm not going to crack the fetch land in case I don't need to cast this Force of Will, because that means like that's one draw, so to speak. So we need Thassa, obviously. And Consider is a way to draw a card on their turn and actually kind of like draw 2 cards. We have to respect them potentially having endurance, I think. Maybe 2 oracles then. How about Edge of Autumn? What kind of pile is this? So, like, I think we have to pick our poison here. I don't think we can play around endurance necessarily, anyways. We could also put, like, another fetch land and another fetchable land in. Because, like, Consider and Edge require us to give opponent a lot of time. So, maybe, I don't know. So we draw Consider, we pass the turn, we Consider on their turn, binning Edge, drawing 1 oracle, and then we draw another oracle. Yeah, I think that's how we do it. So maybe Edge could be something else in case we need to pivot. What though? Yeah, I think I don't know. Yeah, no. I'm gonna make it Edge. We have a lot of stuff to do here. So land on the bottom, double oracle, Edge, and then Consider on top. Let's go. So if they have Days Undoing, okay, so there's Force of Will. They found a force. I mean, we can hardcast Force of Will ourselves. Okay. So I'm gonna pass here. I mean, obviously, can't cast Consider now. There's Brainstorm. What I'm really worried about here is Days Undoing. Like, they could have one of, like, Endurance or Dress Down, and I think our pile beats that. So the question is, do I cast Consider now? No, I think I wait. So do you Force of Will this Consider? It's a good question. Cost you a card. So you don't. Okay. So now the question is, do we cast Thassa not using the Oracle? Not using the Cavern? So, like, in either case, they have us beat if they have X plus Force. So if they have Endurance plus Force of Will, then they have us, and the same with Dress Down, I think. Oh, it's just tough because if they have Dress Down and we fetch first, then we lose to decking no matter what. But if they don't have Dress Down but have Plow, then we lose to, like, Force plus plow. I don't know, I'm gonna go just raw dog it here. See what they do. See if they want to like go for a dress down. So they force pitch Jace. So their hand, well, we don't know about their hand because they brainstormed. Do we just go for it? I think we go for it here. They have double plow, which would be weird. They beat us even through the fetch land. I feel like, okay, so they have endurance. Oh, they have the dress down. Okay, sure. GG's. All right. So we want the Emrakul and the Sheldock, and we want the 2 extra Duresses. And we want the 3 Mystical Dispute. I don't think we want... We potentially could want the Relic, but I don't think so. We'll cut the Diamond, cut 2 Cyclers, cut the 3 Personal Tutor. And then it's a question of what? I don't think we want double Oracle when we have Emrakul, so I feel okay cutting that. And what's the blue count now? It's 7, 9, 13, 14, 18. It's 19 with Thassa, so that is kind of cutting it close, but I think that's okay. I don't think we want Shouldered because they're going to be keeping in plows and stuff. We could want the Relic. Is that crazy? Yeah, I don't think Relic is for this matchup. Although, already kind of regretting it. Okay. Wow. Oh, this is so much almost there. Like, if I keep this, I'm banking everything on them not having Force of Will or Force of Negation. How many force effects are they likely to have post board? 5 or 6 probably. I'm gonna gamble. Oh, I'm gonna instantly hate myself if this doesn't go right. But hey, it is what it is. Okay. Let's go. Come on. No. No. Not like this. Okay, you got me. We just got 3 for 2'd. Well, that's probably that, but well, we tried. I don't know, maybe I should play the cavern. What do they have here? Stony Silence. Okay, that's not too bad. We have 2 artifacts in the deck. So I'm gonna ponder. I'm gonna ponder, yeah. Think probably I take this. Or do I? Actually, no. I'm gonna shuffle. Well, I wanted 1 land, so that's fine. Do you have Narset? Ugh, they have some nasty 3-drop here. Yeah, that's a problem. Sure. Just not Days Undoing, please. Plus, let me find Doomsday right now. Is that too much to ask? Okay, Jace. Not too worried about Jace. Doomsday? No. Okay. Think probably I pass here. I want to save the duress for the turn I cast Doomsday, ideally. So I'm gonna consider on their turn to draw a card. They're probably gonna Jace here, I would imagine. There's a Force of Negation. Okay, tapping out for Jace. Sure. I could have like tried and see if I were to hit on a what do you call it, on a daze. Okay, they're gonna look at our top card, and they chose not to do anything. So as is right now, we're getting the top card. So they're betting on us scrying. Sorry, shuffling with the fetch line, I guess. But let's do like this instead. I'll put that on in the graveyard. Thank you very much. Ah, no, there was the daze. What you gonna do? Okay, I'm actually gonna try and thin here for the 0.00% or whatever it is chance to increase the chance of Doomsday. I do believe, my friends, that that was it. I'm gonna play out 1 or 2 more turns, but then I'm ready to pack it in. So they are fate sealing us here, letting us keep ponder. I suppose I don't hate that. Can't draw the card, but can All right, this is gonna be gonna get weird. I'm gonna put grief on top, and I'm gonna hope that they scry or fate seal grief to the bottom, and then draw Doomsday. And that probably will still not be enough because they have at least Force of Negation, and yeah. Interesting that they just went for the fate seal right away. I think normally Jace players would like draw a lot of cards with Brainstorm. Okay, so they did not put grief on the bottom. They didn't fall for it. So I suppose I don't hate drawing grief here. Oh, they did. Hang on. Why didn't I see that? That's so weird. Okay. Let's see. What is this? 2 mana. Oh, it's like the Force of Negation. Okay, so now I have to hope that they don't have Force of Will, that they instead have like nothing or a Force of Negation. I am gonna fetch. Let's just see, how does this math work out in case Doomsday resolves now. Doomsday resolves, Jace goes to 11. We play Shelldog Isle, Jace goes to 13. We cast, and they still like, they could like, I guess Jace Fate Seal doesn't really, maybe it won't matter if we're post Doomsday. So I'm gonna go with the Dark Ritual in case they have something stupid like a Spell Pierce. I don't want to lose to that. But yeah, they most likely have another Force of Will. Yeah, okay, they did. GG's. All right, let's see if we can rebound in round number 4. All right. Can't keep this on the draw, so I'm gonna mulligan. Yeah, I'll keep this. Oh, I will bottom a land, I believe. And then I will ideally Doomsday on like turn 2 with grief. But we shall see. Okay, so Elves. Not exactly what I had hoped and dreamed to play against. Still think this is what I want to do here. You could argue that I should like grief them now. Maybe I should grief them now in case they somehow can like run amok on turn 2. Can they though? They don't have Quarian Ranger. How would that turn 2 look like? So they play like Birch Lore, and then tap, and then like play another Nettle Sentinel, untapping the Nettle Sentinel, and then like play Cradle kind of thing. I think I'm okay waiting actually. Yeah, get your beats in. Now that Birch Lore line is off because their Nettle Sentinel is tapped. Oh no, never mind. They could just untap it with the Birch Lore. I'm being silly. What's this? Okay, green sense for 1. Guessing that's for the Shepherd, or it could be, I guess, for Quarian Ranger, or yeah, no, it's the Shepherd. Never mind, silly me. I think I am going to grief. And we'll see what we're up against. So I mean, let's say they get down Heritage Druid, they can make 3 mana, play Wirewood, untap. I don't think any of this, like if we take the Glimpse, I don't think we die. Unless they like top deck maybe a Cradle or a Natural Order. So I'm gonna take the Glimpse, which I think is the most scary card. And I am going to fetch pre-Doomsday and cast the Doomsday. And I'm going to play as though they don't have Endurance. So that means draw the Brainstorm, cast Brainstorm, draw Consider. And a Cycler and LED. Yep, and then Thassa on the bottom. Seeing as we have 1 extra mana floating around, I'm wondering if I could have done something like more efficient or like with more built-in protection, but I can't work that out right now. Okay, so let's hope we are not dead. So don't want to see Cradle. Not even sure Cradle does it, but it might. Like they might be able to get enough mana to get an elf to become a 5/5. I guess 1 elf wouldn't be the end of the world. Okay, so there's Heritage Druid, sure. So now you make 3 mana. If you have like they just drew Natural Order, I guess I'm dead. I would assume so, anyways. Yeah, because they would just get the Hoof, which would be like 7/7, I think, with haste. So actually, I would be in 1. But they could play the Wirewood and play the Heath. and then it would be an 8/8. Plus they could untap an elf and swing, so never mind. That doesn't matter. So they are thinking hard about something, which I suppose could mean like a green sun. If they have green sun, they can also do it probably because then my pedal, my LED is off. If they go for the collector roof, if they were to have one of those in the main deck. But, okay, so we're not dying to combat this turn anyways. There's the Wirewood. So they have one card we don't know about. It probably is not Endurance. Or they would have kept the Wirewood. Or I do suppose they can just untap the Shepherd, make 3 mana with the Heritage Druid on my turn if they want to. And cast the Endurance. But yeah, it is what it is. Put it back, Tarn, and consider. So they are pausing here, which might either be a bluff or it might mean they actually do have the Endurance and are just considering when is the correct time for them to use it. In any case, I don't think we can afford to wait. Like, if they do have the Endurance and we wait, we just die to them, like, flashing it in at end of turn. So, there's that. Put Tarn into the graveyard and cast Thassa. Alright, sweet. So, Elves, eh? Well, I don't have a lot of good stuff to bring in against Elves. I think Relic is, like, acceptable as a way to counter Endurance. But the problem with that is it will probably drag out the combo turn. So it will be like probably pass the turn several times kind of thing. I think a couple of Shieldreds is fun. I think like a Result Shieldred at least makes stuff like Glimpse Chains like a problem. I don't think Duress is very good. I do kind of like the other discard spells though. Maybe I don't know, Personal Tutor maybe. Maybe it's good enough. I'll cut the Cavern of Souls and I'll cut 1 PT. So what does that do for our blue count though? Ugh, I don't know. This deck is surprisingly not very like high on blue cards. All right. This hand I think I'm going to keep for science, but I'm not thrilled. It's like almost really good, but then not that good after all. So they mulligan to 6 and they go for the Allosaur Shep, which means the Force of Will is now somewhat of a dud. Yeah, I mean, we're slowly grinding our way towards the Doomsday. Double Shepherd, sure. I wonder if I'm supposed to personal tutor for, or then I guess I should have done the last turn. Am I going to be happier having like personal tutor become my next draw step being like an Edge of Autumn? I mean, it's hard to say, right? Maybe I'm supposed to grief now? Yeah, I'm gonna grief now. I'm gonna exile Shieldred. And we'll make an informed decision on the personal tutor. So like if they have surgical extraction, I'm gonna probably keep the Force plus blue card. They'll play around that. They have endurance. And Boseiju, that can kill a land, right? Yeah. Okay, but we're gonna take the endurance. So that's they kept they kept their hand on the strength of endurance. I do believe, and I don't think I'm gonna go for personal tutor for Edge of Autumn, to be honest. They're getting Dried Arbor, yeah. So I mean, they have 3 power. I'll be at 16. I'll be effectively at 14. Then 13 from the fetch land. I'll Doomsday down to 6. Hmm. This is probably Collector Roof. Yeah. Okay, so I'll be at 17. Fetch to 15. Fetch to 14. Doomsday down to 7. And they have 4/5 power. So that's not too bad. Yeah. Hmm. Okay. Well. So wait, how does this work? Let's say that I only fetch once. I'll be at 16. I Doomsday off of Basic Swamp. Play Basic Island. I'll be at I will be at 16. I'll be at 8. Then I have one more fetch land. I'll be at 7. Play one more fetch land. I'll be at 6. I'll take 2, 3, 4, 5. So I can't force a foil, but I think that's okay. And then like next turn, I will fetch twice. I'll draw once, fetch twice. So if I draw like edge, I'll edge into Thassa, edge into Thassa, and then the remaining 2 cards will be lands. I think that's okay. Let's see if somehow that all ends up working out the way I just planned it or mapped it in my head. So I'll make oops. So I'll make the pile C edge Thassa. They might try to muck us up here by using Boseiju on our Sculling Tarn, in which case that's kind of annoying, but potentially still fine. Okay, so let's do this. Let's make the pile the 2 C's on the bottom. Then Thassa, and then the 2 edges. Oh, no, 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 no. Oh, my fucking God. Sorry, pardon my French. I was supposed to play out the snow-covered highland. I just clicked through everything. I don't think it'll end up mattering because, like, I'll have blue next turn anyways, but there was just no reason for that. Okay. So they're keeping up 3 mana, which makes out like they just drew endurance. Maybe they did, maybe they didn't. If they didn't, then this is not. I don't hate this play in that it makes me have to play around it, and they wouldn't be able to put lethal on this like on me anyways. But I'm not sure they would have made that play though, because I think you always want to be pressuring the Doomsday player's life total. But like, I can't do anything else. Like, I'm prized into doing this. Seeing as they, yeah, seeing as they have lethal. Yeah, I don't think there's any way around this. So we are dead to them having drawn endurance on their, I think, 2 draw steps since we griefed them. Well, they could also be thinking about endurance. Sorry, besieging the underground sea now. But oh wow, I'm such an idiot. I should have edged beforehand. So now there's a 50 chance of me drawing the Oracle now. So if they had like a removal spell, that would make a difference. But I don't think they play removal spells. Um, so, but that was loose. I had that mapped out and then ended up sort of forgetting. Come on, do you have the endurance? Looks like. Oh, okay, never mind. They don't have endurance. They are besieging. Not gonna search. Doesn't matter. And not punished. Though, like I said, I don't see what single, like what card they could have that would remove Thassa anyways. All right. Beat Elves. That's always nice and never a sure thing. So cool. 3-1. Let's see if we can make it a 4-1 or if we have to settle for a 3-2. Be back with round number 5. All right. Round number 5 on the draw once more. Yeah, I think I'm going to keep this promising hand. We have the path to Doomsday with like personal tutor off of basic island, and we have a ritual, so we would just need to find like a black mana source. But we also have grief, so if we find another black source, like a black card, we can grief throw grief into the mix, which is always kind of cool. So I'm gonna keep opponent mulligans to 6. It's funny, you know what I'm not facing a lot of lately? Delver. Okay, opponent going down to 5. Makes me think even less so that this would be Delver. Alright, opponent kept 5. Delta, go. Interesting. Could be the mirror. I don't feel like jamming Doomsday into a potential daze. So I think I will, you know what, maybe I'll just draw go here and then set up for a brainstorm next turn. So, yeah, this feels like the mirror. Like a combo deck is more likely, it feels, to mulligan, and it's like an underground sea polluted delta deck, so. But it could just still be like, I don't know, Death Shadow or uh, like the Grixis deck, a control deck of some kind or whatever. They're gonna brainstorm here. I'm not gonna 2-for-1 myself to stop them from brainstorming. Okay, so they are passing. There's a force of will. That's not bad. Okay, so maybe we lose a grief and a force, and we hope to not get wastelanded here. And we cast personal tutor. They daze us? Okay, they didn't daze us. Okay, so they get their shuffle from the brainstorm. Badlands. So this is like a Grixis deck? I mean, obviously it's at least Grixis, but it's like Grixis control, or wonder if I'm getting like Hymned now or Narset. Him. So I think I'm gonna force here. And let's hope they aren't able to fight back. Okay. Alright, well, I'm going to I could get greedy. Let's, for argument's sake, say that I brainstorm into a fetch land. So that puts 5 cards, 6 cards, and then I Cabal Writ. No, I would need to like brainstorm into a Street Wraith and a fetch land. That way I could like get cast 2 Cabal Rituals with Threshold and hard cast Grief and Doomsday. But I don't think, honestly, I don't think it matters that much because like Grief is not gonna like it's not gonna matter that it's material on the board for what we want to do here. Baleful Strix and Reanimate. I mean, do we want them to cast Baleful Strix for 2 mana or for 1 mana? I suppose is the question. What deck plays this? What Grixis deck plays main deck Reanimate? I don't know. I mean, I feel like Reanimate is the take. So I'm going to take that. They could also like grief us, I guess, reanimate our grief. Didn't think about that until just now, so even more happy that I did it. Alright, so let's say that they discard our brainstorm. So we take, then we can't, I suppose we could just, I think I am actually just gonna go hell for leather here and cycle through the deck and get the Thassa. No, now I know. Now I know what I'm gonna do. So I'm gonna put 3 cyclers, a Thassa, and a Cabal, the Cavern of Souls. So if they don't discard me, I'm going to brainstorm. I'm going to draw an edge, brainstorm into drawing a Street Wraith, and then I'm going to cycle, and play Thassa through Cavern. If they take my brainstorm, that means probably they don't have a way to beat just a Thassa. So I'm going to like put Thassa into play with Cavern as the bottom card, I think. Go like this. So their hand is Baleful Strix and Volcanic Island. So I mean, if they draw a card and then cast Baleful Strix and then Thoughtseizes, then they would have 1 unknown card. And if that card is like a lightning bolt, that's pretty bad. Like for the plan I was just describing. I suppose here comes Strix. Yup. Strixy Strix. There's the bulk. Okay, so, I mean, if they counter the Brainstorm, then that means we have to wait 1 more turn. They don't. That means the only card we lose to, I think, is Dress Down, which would be like, it would have been a like a blind draw from like 2 cards possible. So if they have it, they have it. I suppose if they had predict, they could have predicted this just then. All right, sweet. Took A1. They mulligan to 5, which is rough. Some sort of Grixis mid-range deck, Grixis control. Something tells me that it might not be the easiest thing in the world for them to answer Shieldred, but I could be wrong. I like the Duresses. I actually like the Sheldock plan. Um, I may like the Mystical Dispute, although it's pretty embarrassing against like Hymn to Torak and Thoughtseize. So like this is a lot of cards to bring in. Maybe we only want 2 Disputes and 2 Shieldreds. Um, let's cut the personal tutors. And let's cut LED, cut 2 Cyclers. Maybe cut like the one of the extra Thasas. And what's the final trim? Yeah, I think I'll cut 1 petal. It's either that or like a Cabal Writ, I think. Alright. Yeah, I guess I'll keep this. It's not very good in the face of discard spells, but yeah. We'll see. And by that I mean like Mystical Dispute can't counter a discard spell on turn 1, and if they discard us, they'll take the ponder. But luckily they are pondering themselves. And they choose to shuffle. Okay. Another dispute. I almost feel like disputing like another cantrip since they shuffled, but that might be a bit of a stretch. I think I am gonna keep it open here in case they. It wouldn't probably be until turn 3 that they do something nasty with blue mana, but if they were to like. All right, sorry, I can't help myself. I am gonna do this. They force, pitching force. Mm. Yeah, I think I'm happy enough to just take my value and leave here. But the read was right, I guess, that they were sort of like struggling. They're probably looking for a second land, and they found one, but it's not something that shuffles. Although now they are representing Red Blast, and Red Blast on this ponder would be like really annoying. But let's see. So I'm glad I drew the consider, which at least if this gets countered, will still let me cantrip. But I'm gonna pass here in case they drop like a Narset. I want to be able to Mystical Dispute it. All right, the opponent is thinking long and hard about something, which could indicate like I was gonna say surgical extraction, but this is their upkeep. Yeah, I don't know what they're. Oh, their surgical extract. Oh my goodness, the value is real. Okay, so they are going down a card to shuffle, basically. They already 2-for-1 themselves with the force, so this is like card economy wise, this is like really bad for them. But I guess desperate times and all that. Okay. So if they're just sitting on red blasts, I'm gonna feel bad about stepping in front of another one of those. But I do also feel like getting going here. Like if I'm them and I have red blast, I think I'm using it here just because like I want to do something. Okay, I'm definitely drawing Shouldred. So we have Cavern, which is just sick if we get one more turn, which I would assume that we will. So that's Thoughtseize Hero is a good draw. They have a Grief. Um, So I'm definitely taking the grief here, and I'm gonna ride the shoulder to victory. They even had the pyroblast. They didn't use it. It's very interesting. There's almost nothing they could have drawn here that would matter. I would think maybe a reanimate would actually matter. Yeah, reanimate would be a sick draw for them. Oh, or a second grief. That's also quite unfortunate for us. I mean, don't think that we can really afford to fight here because Force just gets pyroblasted. Ah, that's too bad. That's too bad. But at least now we know that all we're dealing with is like a pyroblast. But they're like staring down this barrel, this loaded gun. Um, so I guess we just have to draw our second shoulder, hey? Little bit concerned about having that in my graveyard with them being like a reanimate deck. So, Wasteland. Didn't see that one coming. I guess they're a Wasteland deck. Cool. All right. Really want to not let them get out from under this. So please, Doomsday or Shieldred. Days. Days is actually not the worst with them being like choked on mana here. We can really put a Days to work, I would say. Okay, so they found their third land. We found a Thoughtseize. I'm gonna fire that off because we know they at least have one like card we wouldn't mind taking out of their hand, which is the Pyroblast, and a Days of Their Own. Wow, what is this crazy deck? All right, taking the Pyroblast. Not worried about Days. Okay, 4 lands. Wonder if this deck has Mystical or Mystic Sanctuary. Second Days for us is pretty bad, especially with them finding their fourth land. If they're fetching here, I'm going to assume it's because they have Mystic Sanctuary. But then what do you take? Like, what do you put on top? Surgical seems kind of weak. Pyroblast also seems a little bit anemic. So I guess like Ponder or Brainstorm. Yeah, they take the Ponder. Oh no, they take the Force of Will. But they're okay, so they have Days. No, okay, never mind. I must have like not looked at the right place. Okay, Ponder it is. So their hand is Days plus whatever this Ponder finds. They don't shuffle and pass. Interesting. Okay, there is Doomsday. Excellent. So what do I lose to here if I don't drop the Cavern? I would lose to like Flusterstorm, but I would lose to that anyways, I think. I'm not going to drop the Cavern. So I guess they could be just thinking about whether or not today's here. If they have something more serious, then that's a little bit scary, but okay. So this is what, Force of Negation? That's unfortunate. Love getting that turn 9 days value. Alright, so I am gonna Doomsday here. Wish I was sitting on the Shelldock in my hand. So Shelldock, Emrakul, Thassa. We already have the cavern. So maybe like a duress and like another duress. I'm not sure. How does this work? Maybe that is a little bit too heavy on the disruption. So we'll draw Shelldock, put Emrakul underneath, and then like draw 2 discard spells. Maybe we just want like Edge of Autumn. Though like getting through the pile seldomly is an issue. But in case they like Surgicalist here, then like shuffling the deck and then drawing Edge is better than like Duress, I think. Yeah, I think let's try this on for size. It really sucks that they changed the rules on Hideaway, so that you can no longer you no longer get to like order the cards after you Hideaway underneath the deck. You used to be able to do that. All right, so Duress on the bottom, Edge, or rather, Thassa, Edge, Emrakul, Shelldock. They have shown us several surgical extraction. So, or I guess 1 surgical, was it? I thought. Why did I think it was 2? Oh, it was. They did have 2. They exiled 1 to the grief, and I like a klutz forgot to replay my Underground Sea. Oh well. Reanimate grief. You know what? I think I'm gonna pass on that one. And they still cannot do it with the days in their hand. All right, so what we need to like fade here is them drawing a wasteland, and next after that a dress down. I think those are the relevant cards now. Let's put an Emrakul underneath here. We can Mystical Dispute. I'm not sure what we would want to Mystical Dispute. We can Mystical Dispute. Just don't draw Wasteland, please. Okay. Getting the strict impression that they did not. Let's play this. This way we can actually even Mystical Dispute, address down, and pay for days. Doesn't look like it's going to be relevant. Emrakul coming for you. Sweet. They conceded to the Emrakul on the stack. Excellent. All right. All right. All right. All right. I had fun. This was a cool league. Interesting decks, I think, mostly all around. A little bit bummed that I dropped that match against Bant Control. I think that's a decent enough matchup, to be honest. But yeah, the game 1 was a bit weird. In game 2, I took the punt when they had 7 cards that they wouldn't have a force effect, and they did. So that was I walked with open eyes into that one. But yeah, look, thanks a lot for watching. Stay safe, and I'll be back with some more Legacy. Bye bye.